Heyo. Okay, well, I updated my office. Do you guys see anything different about my office?
Yeah, the wallpaper doesn't have the bees on it anymore because you were saying
Right.
they were hard to tell what they were.
Yeah,
And the main bee is bigger.
yeah. You like it? I'm still playing around with it because then I want to like start buying the things. So is that too big?
No, I think that's kind of like your brand, like what you're known for. So I think, it standing out is great.
Okay,
Plus
cool.
it matches the light on the other side of you too.
Right. Awesome. Headed in the right direction then. Cool. Well, thank you for that feedback. So, interesting fact, did anyone else miss the memo that there was a new lead-based paint like pamphlet released in January of this year? Anyone else know that except me?
No, I'm telling you, between November and now, there have been so many releases of information and it's like it was right during the holidays and stuff, and it's like we
Huh.
missed it wasn't like predominant, it was like they slid it in on us.
I feel like nobody told us. Like, so I feel like nobody told us it was like, hey, there's this new federal EPA lead-based paint thing for you. So, anyways, Kyle's going to update our dot loop with the new and improved January 2026 lead-based paint. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about lead-based paint on Thursday because I think as agents, we kind of get like lackadaisical about it. It's like, here, sign this. But like, it can really do some scary shit, especially to like kids if they're like eating paint chips with lead and all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to do a little more research and then we can talk more about that on Thursday. So the other special request I've had is doing a training and kind of a live for sale by owner script. So does anyone on the call have experience making calls to for sale by owners? Okay. Well, we had a request for that. So I'm putting together a couple of different script options. So the great thing about scripts is that you kind of read what someone else, it's working for someone else, right? Some of these scripts that we have resources, decades of like tried and true scripts. However, we can probably tweak them and stuff. But some of them have what's called neurolinguistic embedded programming. So it's like when you list with me at a price that will cause your home to sell, that's just a sentence script from a listing presentation. But little things like that are kind of baked into your scripts. Like, what would it take for you to hire an agent like me or hire me as your agent, things like that. So, Brendan, have you ever done any first sale by owner lead gen?
For sale, but no,
Okay.
I haven't really messed with them, honestly.
All right. Well, it's so funny because they're such low hanging fruit, but they're hard to get off the tree, right? So, but I think we always assume that someone is doing for sale by owner to like save money, but that's not always the case. So I think if we can practice some scripts and role play and do some live calls and get past the fear of someone saying no or hanging up on you, like you got to shoot your shot, right? In order for something to stick. So. Yep.
Hey
Brennan, how?
Holly,
Yeah,
I was gonna chime in on that. I think the reason a lot of brokers don't have for sale by owner scripts is because we typically got into this business and we have a sphere of influence, and that sphere of influence keeps us busy. However, I love for sale by owners scripts and opportunity based for those agents that come in and say, I'm in a new area. I don't know anybody, or I'm kind of a recluse. And so for me, I always tailor, well, okay, you don't have a quote unquote sphere of influence like another agent who's, out there being a social butterfly. Here are some opportunities for you in real estate, like, expireds and for sale by owners. So I think it is a great targeted market for the agents that it fits their business plan and kind of their mentality. So I actually think it's a great thing to do, because I always think it's funny when an agent gets their license and they're like, well, I don't know who my clients are going to be. And I'm like, there's clients everywhere. It's just picking what works for your personality.
exactly. There's no way you would catch Sandy caught making a call to a for sale by owner. But we have a friend named Grant, and that is his bread and butter. Like he can sweet talk any for sale by owner to giving him a chance. Like he's just so good at it. So I think it's important to know that like, we have all these tools in our toolbox. So it's time we start pulling them out and talking about the different ones. So this for sale by owner script is just the first of many. Then there's like calling your sphere. And I will say, Lindsay, you make a great point. I'm sure you saw this too, but in all the agents I've ever, brokered before, I would say the majority get their clients from Sphere, past clients, word of mouth. And then the other one, like the second thing would be paid advertising. But especially agents who are getting into real estate or their careers ebbing and flowing, which is pretty normal. They might not have the cash to do that. So that's why calling for sale by owners on Zillow and in your local paper, or when you see a sign and you're driving around, that's just, at least it doesn't cost you anything, right? Except cost you your time to pick up that phone. So we just got to get over that hurdle. Andy, are you upside down again? Why does that
I don't know
happen?
why. I don't know.
I always think it's hysterical. I don't know why that happens to you. All right. Well, anyone have anything else they want to add? Any thoughts? All right. Well, we don't have meetings, just Damien.
Um, Switching gears doesn't have anything to do with FISBOs, but I saw on our Notion page that you teach like an AI course.
Uh-huh.
And I was curious, are you mostly in ChatGPT? Are you in Gemini? Are you using both? Are you using something completely different?
Yeah, so I'm still mainly in ChatGPT. I've used a little bit of Gemini. I know that I want to do a little bit more. I have a Tesla, for those of you that don't know, so I definitely play around with Grok while I'm driving. And then I just started playing around with Alexa. So Alexa's kind of our OG, right? Back in the day,
Okay.
but now she has a brain like ChatGPT. So you can actually have a conversation with her, where she used to just be able to like answer a question directly. She was like a Google, right? So yeah, so I'm playing around with all of those. But I have heard great things about Gemini. It's just for me, it's easier to stick with ChatGPT because what I've been doing is I've been creating separate chats for different things. In any company, we have like SOPs, a standard operating procedure, right? So what I've been doing is I've been programming a chat GPT with what I want. And like, for example, then Lady will go and take one of these recordings we have and she'll download it, download the transcript, plug it into the chat GPT I created, and it's going to spit out my version of what I want now on the blog post. So I'm starting to create chat GPTs for different of our processes too.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? Are you using anything?
I'm pretty deep into ChatGPT. I'm kind of doing what you're doing. I have a file for um, everything, follow up boss, all my scripts, how I talk. I've uploaded quite a bit of, I guess, my personality, so it knows me pretty well.
Yeah.
But I'm looking into Gemini just because I live in Google.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I was going to that. And now I'm going to check out Grok because that's new on my radar. But I was just curious. I took an AI course that was offered through my local association, and the instructor, he uses both. And he uses Gemini for one thing and then ChatGPT for another because they both have their strengths and weaknesses. So I was just curious if anybody else was doing that.
Definitely.
Hey, I'll tell you one too. It's called Gen Spark. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but they've got Matthew Broderick as the like spokesman for it. They've got commercials out and everything. So it's basically an AI workspace, and I think you pay I don't know anything about that, Brian. I don't
Gotta love Brian.
But I think it's like $20 a month too, but it has access to every single one. So you can pick if you want it to use Grok or Chat GPT or this for different things. And then it has AI agents. So it has like a calling agent that would, you can like give it scripts and it'll make calls for you and leave voicemails and stuff like that and do sheets. I think that's kind of the avenue that every AI is going to go. It's going to have like access to everything or all these different models. And then you can kind of like, you're paying for that one and then you can pick what it uses. But I would check it out. It's GenSpark.
GenSpark, definitely. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
I have heard of that one too. I was wondering how that works because, obviously to syndicate like that. Damien, I was going to tell you. So I jumped into Chat GPT really heavy because obviously it was like one of the first ones to come out. But my AI coach was Phil Stringer, and he started with Chat GPT and manages those platforms. And he knows a lot about the other ones too, but he's like, just like your CRM, it's the one you use every day and the one that's helping you. So I'm always interested in the other ones, but I'll be happy to just follow Phil Stringer. He has a ton of free courses. I'm overwhelmed at just the stuff I learned for free from him. I was a paid agent, I took some of his paid classes and didn't disappoint whatsoever. So I'm glad you're investing in that. That shows a lot about what you're trying to do. Phil, PHIL Stringer, STRINGER, like stringer, like I have a stringer of fish.
No, so I was messing around the other day and I got to record it, but I had ChatGPT on my phone and Grok on the car and I was having them have a conversation. It was pretty hysterical. It's funny how they both want the last word. So they're like, all right, well, let me know if you need anything. All right, well, sounds good. It was like
So
the longest
th-
goodbye ever.
they're good. It's a good Midwesterner then, right?
Exactly. Also, for those of you that haven't noticed, it feels like Grok leans right politically and ChatGPT leans left, which is very interesting. And only if you're having those kind of conversations with them. But it is interesting how you'll get two very different answers when you ask like strange political questions or conspiracy theories or stuff. So if you're into that, you can check it out.
Listen, I think that's actually funny you say that because I'm pretty far right and I use ChatGPT. So there'll be some things I'll ask it and I'll get that answer. And I was like, oh, I forgot you're on the other side, ChatGPT.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's interesting. Um, all right, cool. Well, I was gonna let's see, this Wednesday. So I don't know off the top of my head what our True Crime Tuesday, True Crime and Real Estate podcast will be about if someone wants
The
to
wire fraud tomorrow, right?
wire fraud. Okay. And then we have you on Wednesday, right, Brian?
Absolutely.
Apocalypse on
Bring,
a budget.
yeah, bring coffee because it's gonna be a long one.
Bring coffee and your notepad, and we are working on creating like an Amazon list so you can easily access the things that he's going to be recommending. But whether you're just want to plan ahead for the next big weather storm or you're preparing for zombies or preparing for war, Brian's going to have us covered. So I'm really excited about that. All right. Well, anyone else? All right. Well, hey, you know where to reach us. When in doubt, reach out, message us if you need us. We are here for you. We all started this morning with a blank slate at 0. So go out and talk to a buyer, a seller, or an agent today. Have a great one. Bye.